YouTube, checking in with y'all today, currently in Garland, Texas. Picking up a multi-stop load. First stop in Mississippi, last two in Alabama. Before I get into the subject of this video, which if you watched my last video, you already know what this one is about. That being the review or recap of my first year at Prime as a lease operator. So, before we get into that, I'm going to go ahead and cap off that last video about my 1,000-mile deadhead, which ended up being about 1,400 miles. Got to Iowa, sent the message in to what I thought was going to be the weekend dispatch. To my surprise, my fleet manager was actually in and working. I guess they rotate Saturdays, so must have been his Saturday to work. Let him know, hey, I'm in Iowa, man, I'm ready to reload. He hit me back about 5 minutes, like, got you. I'm gonna get you something, ASAP. I said, all right, bet. Went and took a shower, got something to eat. By the time I got the shower, he sent me a load I had to pick up in Minnesota. 400, just under 400 miles north of where I was at in Iowa. All right, cool. He let me know, hey, you're still getting paid for those miles. So these extra 400 miles, you're getting paid for them, $1 a mile. So in total, deadhead miles ended up being about $1,400. Load he sent me was paid $1,800, running from Worthington, Minnesota down to Roanoke, Texas, roughly 800 miles. So in total, talking about $3,200 over the course of about 4 days. Combined with the two loads I had did earlier in that week, bought my weekly revenue up to $4,600. Did pretty good on my fuel, about $8.50 on fuel due to the fact that I did a lot of empty driving, and couple that with my fixed costs, I'm pretty much gonna bring home definitely over $2,000 this week. So not a bad week considering I spent 34 hours at home and I did hit it for 2 days basically. So not a bad week, man. Like I said, I'm not surprised. I knew what to expect. It's not the first time I've been in a situation like this or similar to this. I haven't been in a situation like this at all. I haven't hit it more than about 400 miles where I got paid for it as well, but I haven't hit it no dang 1,400 miles. But ultimately, that's $1,400. Good paying load on the back end. Paid about $2.25 a mile. Here at Prime Inc. in Prime Inc.'s realm, $2.25 a mile is a good load. That's a good paying load. If you're out here on your own, you're super trucker, king, 18 speed, all that, you getting $8 a mile, that's great. You got your own authority, all that, that's cool. But where I'm at, in my current situation, $2.25 is a pretty good paying load. Like I said, all said and done, taking home over $2,000 this week. So I'm good. With that said, we'll move on to the subject of this video, which is the review. What did I learn? How'd the money pan out? We'll get into the money a little bit later. Real quick, what did I learn? What did I learn? I learned several things, one of which I've spoken about before in earlier videos, which is the freight, the areas that the freight is paying good in, and especially in relation to where I want to run at when I get to the next level when I'm on my own. I don't plan on running out west. I don't plan on running northwest, west coast, none of that. I've been out there, been there, done that as a trainer, as a trainee, and I'll be out there some more in 2018 as I continue to train. But when I level up and I get my own truck and I'm either getting my own authority or I'm leasing onto a carrier, I'm going to run the Midwest, some Northeast, but predominantly the Midwest and the Southeast. That's pretty much what I'm going to do. Midwest, East Coast, Southeast. That's pretty much it. So the money for me is pretty much in the Midwest coming out. Pick up Midwest, bring it to Northeast. Pick up Midwest, run it to the South. That's where I need to be at. So that's what I learned in my first year being out here. How to run a truck, not how to drive a truck. Obviously, I know how to do that. I've been driving for several years before I came to Prime locally. How to run a truck, it's a totally different thing. maintaining the truck, keeping up on your maintenance, being in tune with your truck, understanding what's going on, listening to it. You hear something that doesn't sound normal, something's wrong. So, understand that when you're OTR, this truck is everything, man. It's your house, it's your money maker, it's your safety, it's everything. If the truck go down, then you ain't making no money, you don't got nowhere to live at, you know what I mean? So, like, that's a big deal. When I was locally, I'm not gonna say I didn't care about the truck, but it wasn't that big of a deal, man. I drove it, I came back to the yard, hey, something's wrong, tell the mechanics, they'll get to it. If the truck break down, which I had my truck break down on me before, turbo blew out, I sat in the truck until the wrecker came, rolled back with the truck, got in my car and drove home. If this truck breaks down out here in whatever state I'm in, there is no going home. You don't have to get a hotel out of your own pocket or get an advance and thug it out. You're making no money. That truck note still coming out. Like, it's a big deal. So I learned that. I learned how to maintain the truck and all that stuff. And more importantly, I learned about the fuel, how to run the truck in terms of the fuel, because when I first got in the truck, the first month or two, man, it was 65 everywhere. I'm get on the highway, 65, set the cruise, I'm gone. And I was noticing my MPGs was usually between 7.2 and 7.8, and the fleet average was pretty much always over 8 miles a gallon. And I'm a competitive person by nature, so I'm looking like, man, hold up, why am I below the average? I don't like this. So one day I said, you know what, let me run 62. I ran 62 the entire load, got like 8.3 miles a gallon. I'm like, all right, guess I gotta slow down some. Then I realized, I started paying attention to the weights of my loads, and I said, you know what, these lighter loads, I can run 65, it's not a problem. Anything underneath 35,000 pounds, anything below 30,000 pounds, I'm running 65. When I start getting them loads, like the one I just delivered, 45,000 pounds, I'm gonna keep it between 60 and 62. I need to increase my MPGs because that means I'm burning less fuel, therefore spending less on fuel, therefore making more money, saving money. So that was a big thing. The lightest load I've had since I've been here was about 7,000 pounds. I ran that thing 65 all the way in and got like 9.3 miles a gallon on that. So that's a big deal, out here. Any money that you can save is money earned. So with that said, man, I know it's probably some other things. Like, I do these videos, I don't write anything down. I'm not really rehearsing it. I'm pretty much talking off the top of the head. So if it's something that you want to ask me about that I didn't touch on, definitely go ahead and drop a comment and I'll respond to it if I have any valuable input. If I don't, I'll let you know I don't. But yeah, you can definitely drop a comment. I'll get back to you about that. But that's just off the top of the head. That's some of the things I learned. So yeah, with that said, we get ready to slide back here, pull the laptop, and then we can look at the numbers as far as how the money panned out. All right, people. So right now we're looking at the statement of income and expense. That title is self-explanatory, or at least it should be. For those of y'all who don't know what it means, it's basically just a breakdown of all the income or revenue that your company made, and it's a breakdown of all your expenses over the course of the current year, and over the course of the lease. So we're going to focus on the column lease to date total, which is the LTD total right there. That's the column we're going to focus on because that's the column that's going to represent the amount of money that my truck has made since my business started in November 2016. So since I started this lease in November 2016 up through November 2017, that's represented in that column. So I mean, at the top you see total freight revenue is $175,906. That's just the earnings from the freight that was picked up and delivered. Below that, there's a breakdown of all the other ways money was earned: deadhead, extra pay, pickup, stop off pay. For those of y'all who don't know, at Prime, Obviously, you have to have one pickup and one delivery, but anything other than that, you're paid extra for it. So like I said, I'm currently picking up a load right now that has 3 stops. So I'm gonna get paid something extra for the other 2 stops. Like I said, you got to have one pickup, you got to have one delivery. So that's the pay from that. Training driver, detention pay. Look at the detention pay. Basically $4,500 in detention pay. That's why I don't complain about being detained for the most part. So yeah, this is just a breakdown of all your revenue. And at the bottom, you'll see total revenue, and you see $216,745.23. So that figure is the amount of money that my company has made or grossed over its first year of operation, from November 2016 to November 2017. That's the gross revenue. That's good. It looks good, sounds good. That's, you know, the gross revenue is always good, and then you gotta factor in expenses, and that's where things go left. So as you can see right there, operating expenses, variable costs. I'm not going to go through all of that, but you know what that is. You see right there, first thing that pops up, tractor fuel. So it's the biggest variable cost. $46,447 spent on fuel. It's a lot of fuel. Well, not really. They're right below. You see the discount. So basically, over $40,000 spent on fuel. All right. All this other stuff, additives, reefer fuel. I mean, so right here it says total fuel. So total fuel after it takes out the discount is $46,000. So $46,000 spent on fuel. You have a tire fund. You don't have any choice about that. So they've taken out $3,200 from the tire fund. You got to pay for all the, as a reefer driver, everybody has to get tire chains here, but the load locks, the padlock, all these things you got to get before you leave. They take it out in increments until it's paid off. So tolls, broker fees, payroll fee, all these miscellaneous charges. We're not going to sit here and go through all of them. We just want to get to the total. So you see right there, the total variable cost is $78,760. That's a lot of money. Your fixed costs, which is your all things included in your truck, the truck itself, the permits, the tags, insurance, all that. The total fixed cost you see right there is $64,586. See where this is going. Scroll down a little further and we get to total operating expenses. $144,599. Golly. So that $216,000 sound real good till you added up these expenses. And then right below that you see the $72,145.30. That is what was actually deposited into my account over the course of this first year in operation. So that's what my business profited prior to, obviously, me paying myself. So $72,000. Now, is that terrible? For me, no, it's not terrible. It's not what I desire, but it's not terrible. All right, so that's $72,145. That figure represents the net profit for my business in its first year of operation. Now, obviously, that's not including the taxes. My taxes are going to be between $10,000 and $12,000 for the year, so we'll just go high and say 12. That knocks that profit down to $60,000. I paid myself according to need this year because I had, as I've stated before, I was getting myself out of debt. I moved. Me and my family moved into a different house, so all these expenses I had to deal with, and like I said, the debt, I had to get that taken care of. I had to clean up my personal credit to further my agenda. So I didn't really pay myself a set amount. I kind of took what I needed. I never took all of it. You know, you got to leave money in there for the business, but at the same time, you know, I took what I needed to accomplish what I was trying to accomplish or needed to accomplish at that point in time. So with that said, I would say I probably paid myself $50,000 this year, which means $10,000 is set aside, which is set aside between my credit cards that I got paid up and cash on hand in my business account. So that's what that is right now. $50,000 going into my household compared to what I made my last full year as a local driver, which gross was $55,000 and netted $44,000. That's a $6,000 increase in terms of money bought into my household. So that's good for me. I made an improvement. Is it where I want to be? Am I satisfied? No, not even close. But like I said, those expenses, as y'all saw, are very, very high here. And to reiterate, I knew that when I came here. I'm not out here blind, but at the same time, like I said, this is a learning experience for me. All the things I mentioned about what I learned earlier in the video, that was the purpose of being here. Now, I'm going to do more training in 2018. Like I said, I spent 7 or 8 months driving solo, 4 or 5 as a trainer. I'm going to train more in 2018, which is going to increase my earnings. I'm going to change up the tax accountants that I have, because right now I'm using the service that's in-house with Prime, and I was advised against them before I used them, but it was the convenient thing for me to do. I went ahead and did it, but I can't do it next year because this is too high. You know, $10,000-$12,000 compared to people I've spoken to who are in the same situation at the same company but use their own CPA at home and are paying half of that in taxes. You gotta save all you can, man. So I'm gonna be switching that up as well, but you know, it'll be better for me next year. I'm definitely gonna make more money next year. My personal credit is not completely clean, but it's in a lot better situation than it was when I came out here. So that's not gonna be something hanging over my head. So I also got something in the works right now, something brewing as far as expanding my business. So I'll keep y'all in the loop with that as things unfold or things become more concrete. I'll touch back on that in the next couple of weeks if it's looking like it's gonna pan out. But outside of that, man, this, like I said, for me, this has been a successful first year of operation. It's been a success for me, and I'm just gonna build upon it and continue to grow. That's all we can do out here. So with that said, man, as always, appreciate y'all for checking out the video, checking out my channel. For those of y'all who have subscribed, appreciate that as well. For those of you watching this video, if you haven't subscribed, if you care to, that's cool. I appreciate it. If not, it is what it is. But I'm just here sharing my journey, sharing the situations that I have encountered, and just letting people know how it is out here from my perspective. So with all that said, man, till next time, y'all be easy.
I stay on the clock, I'm always on the clock. As soon as I